Welcome to TestNG Framework Training Session 22. This is Haradhan once again as usual. Today in this session I will discuss how we can execute failed test case in TestNG with the help of IRetryAnalyzer listener interface. Thank you all for watching my videos. In case you are enjoying my videos and learning automation testing and Java, please like and share my videos. Do not forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so that you will get notification as and when I will upload any new videos. Please provide your valuable comment for any input or suggestion. Stay tuned for my next videos. So in my previous session, one of my sessions, I already told you how we can execute only failed test case in TestNG, right? So whenever you are creating any TestNG file, right, and you are running a set of test case, whenever the test case is getting passed, right? Sorry, test case. You are running any particular class or any suits. So if you refresh the page, okay, and in the test output folder, right, you can find a file called TestNG failed XML. So if you open it, so if you run it, only the failed test case will be running, right? You can run it in case any test case is failed, so that particular failed test case will be done. Okay, this is the one option. So suppose in a particular class or suit, say you have 10 test cases, right? 8 test cases got passed successfully, but only 2 test cases got failed due to some reason. Maybe your internet connection was poor, or maybe timeout issue, or maybe some of the problem was there, right? So instead of running all the test case, you can pick up only the failed test case and you can run it, so that it will save your time, right? So because anyway past test case, there is no need to run it, right, again and again the same day. Instead of that, the failed test case you can rerun it multiple times. So with that particular approach, you can rerun the only the failed test case. Okay. So now I will show you the another approach, which is like using the IRetryAnalyzer listener interface. We can also run the failed only test cases multiple times, right, based on the user requirement. Okay. So test method will be failed because of many reasons, like uncertain behavior by the application, network issue, timeout issue, etc. To overcome the false failure, we may want to re-execute failed test method. So this failure is not the system deviation, right? This is not a bug, right? Why system is getting failed. This is kind of application behavior is not correct. Maybe it's not able to open the Chrome driver, Chrome browsers, not able to launch that particular URL, or some network issue or timeout issue, or unable to open the particular locate an element like that. So these are the internal issues for which test case is getting failed, but this is not the application deviation. So for which we need to run the failed test cases multiple times, so that like that issue is fixed, and obviously test case is getting passed. Test case can be failed because of some issue, but that is not our concern area. But in case of the internal problem, which is not a bug in the system, and in case test case is getting failed, we need to rerun it multiple times, so that we can really want to know, we really get to know the test case the exact status, right? So when a test fails, the retry method gets called, and the retry method will result in either true or false, right? It can be either true or false. In case user have a test method that is annotated with retry analyzer along with test, so based on the result from the retry method, at the rate test method decide whether it should try or not, right? If retry result is true, then the test method will try to re-execute the test cases. If it is false, so it will not run. That means your test case is getting passed. In a single shot, it can be passed, but in multiple shot, it can be passed. But in case as and when it is return result is true, it will not execute anymore. So retry receives a parameter for test result. This will contain whether the test is passed or not, and the test method names based on the increment. The counter is retry failed test. So I have okay. So first, these are the 4 approach we need to utilize to rerun the failed test case multiple time. First, we need to create a class which will implement IRetryAnalyzer listener interface. Then we need to initialize 2 variable. One is the current try, obviously it will be 0, and the maximum try you can give any time, any numeric value, any integer value. based on our requirement. Suppose you want to try 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, we can give that particular value. We need to override the right called retry method, right conditions where it should enter, right. We need to check whether if the block is getting true, right. In case it is not true, so it will return to the false, right. So first here I want to create few test cases. Okay, suppose I am giving one as test 1, and here I want to give assert dot assert equals, suppose actual is 10, expected is 20. Obviously test case will fail, right. I want to create another two methods, suppose 2, so it will match, and 3 also get failed. Okay, suppose say 15. Now if we run it, you can see it will run only one time, right. Though it is getting passed or failed, right. You can see only one time is getting run because we did not use any retry listener, so it is running one time, right. So test 1 and test 3 is getting failed, right, because the assertion is not matching. Let's run it again. Okay, so it is getting two test cases getting failed and one test case is getting passed, right. If you go to that thing, because it is not getting matched, right, expected 20, I mean found 20. So I already told you, if you refresh the test output folder, and so you will get that particular TestNG failed XML file. So this is the one approach. You can see these are the two test cases getting fast, right. So you can run it from here, right. If you do some correction, you can, I mean, suppose let's made a correction here, so I want to correct the test case number 3 as well, right. So now if you run it from here, you can see only the failed test case is getting run, right, not all the test case, out of which test 1 is still failed and test 3 is getting passed. Right now if you refresh it again, you can see only one test case should be there, right. If you open it again, you can see, one second, let me close that particular file. So this is the one approach. If you open it again, you can see right now only one test case is getting, right, one method, include them is test 1. So that is the one approach. We can run it for multiple times from that particular folder. Another approach is, let's test case 1 and test case 2. Okay, method test 1 and test 2. So here I already creating a class retry listener, right, which will implement. So let's remove that particular test methods. It will not have any default methods, so it will implement that particular, right, the particular listener interface. I want to implement it. So simply in the class we need to implement it, because it's the interface we need to implement it, because class to class it will be extends, whereas interface to interface it will be extends, but class to interface we need to use the implements, I mean keyword, right. So you need to import first IRetryAnalyzer interface from org.testng. After that we need to unimplement all the, so we have to implement all the unimplemented method, right. So by default it is getting created. Okay, now here I need to declare two variables, right. One, I am declaring current try and max try, declaring two variables. Suppose current try I can give 10 0, and max try suppose I want to try 3 times, say. Okay, then here I need to give condition, right. The condition is, if the current try, I want to give condition, if current try less than maximum try, right, it will increment and return true until it is getting false, right. But obviously it will try all the try, right, all the maximum try whatever is given, right. In case it is matching, obviously it will not try anymore. Okay, it will return false. Otherwise it will plus current try, it will run one by one from 0 1 2 3 like that, and it will return true. I mean, in case all that attempt is failure, it will return true only, because obviously test case will not pass anymore. So whenever you are giving 0 and 3, right? So that means 3 different run and 1 0 run. So 4 run will be there, right? And obviously in the first 3 run it will be skipped because it will try to run it, right? And the last run it will be failed. Okay. So that's why we can create another class which is retry listener and we will implementing the IRetryAnalyzer listener interface, right? We are declaring two variables, which is the first current obviously we are setting as 0 starting, and we can give the maximum try any number of time. And here that retry particular methods will be running, right? Unless it is matching with the max try, and it will current time will plus plus, and it will, in case it is still not pass, so it will return true, and in as soon as it is matching it will return false. Okay. Now in the failed test case, suppose if we want to run all the failed test to check whether test case is getting failed, and in the failed test case if we want to run it, so we have to use that particular, right, retry analyzer. So in the test annotation we have to use it. Retry analyzer equal to, we need to give that particular class name where we implemented IRetryAnalyzer. So class name is that and dot class. So that is the syntax you need to use. Dot class. Okay. So you can see error message is gone. Now if we want to implement the same thing for all the methods, you can simply copy. Okay. Okay. So here what will happen? So I have three different test methods. First is getting failed, second is getting failed, right, and third is getting passed. Okay. But I have used retry listeners, retry analyzer with the help of retry listener class, whatever you created, which is implementing IRetryAnalyzer, right? And where we have given maximum try equal to 3 and current try equal to 0. So it will try for 4 times unless it is getting passed. So 3 times it will be skipped and last time it will be failed. Okay. And but the past test cases will not getting impacted because that past test case, third test case getting passed, so it will not retry, right? Because it is getting passed. It will not retry. Okay, let's run the code. Let's see what is happening here. You can see test case 1 is getting failed. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Fourth number it is getting failed, right? Because we have started current try equal to 0 and it is going till 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2 it is getting skipped, right? You can see it is getting skipped, and fourth time it is getting failed. Similar test 2 also, fourth time it is getting failed, and whereas test 5 in a single, sorry, test 3 method in a single shot it is getting passed. So that is the reason it is not retrying multiple time, right? And if you go here, you can see total number of run is 9, failure 0, skip 0, and obviously pass is 1, right? So because we have given that particular retry counter as 3, so 3 time into 2 method, skip is 6. Now if you go here, okay, so you can see test method 3 is getting passed and test method 1 is getting failed for the first time, right? Again it will be trying another time. Test method 2 is also getting failed, right? After that test method 1 is also again skipped, right? Okay, it will be skipped for 3 times. Okay, skipped second times and it is skipped 3 times. Similarly test method 2 will skip 3 times. Okay, because expected over 30 and found 10. Okay, similar way it will be skipped for 3 times. And so total number of method was 3 here. One is getting passed. So though we are using the retry analyzer, but it will not retry it, right? Because it is getting passed. Okay. And failed test case based on the condition we are giving, it will be passed. I mean it will be retried multiple times. Suppose in case I am giving us 5. So it will be retried total 6 number of times, 0 to 5. And the first 5 it will be skipped and the 6th time it will be failed. Okay. So here I have these 3 different test method, right? So for the second method, though it is getting failed, I will not use that particular retry analyzer. So what happened? It will only try for 1 times, right? Because I am not using the retry analyzer here. So at this case, it is getting passed. Though I have used retry analyzer, but it will run only for 1 time because that particular thing is matching, return false, right? is matching. So it will not run anymore. And for the test method 2, I did not use retry analysis, so it will run only one time, it will be failed. Whereas for the first test method, I have given retry analyzer, right? So it will be run based on the input provided here. So it will be current time will be 0 and maximum time will be 5. So it will be run total 6 number of time. So 5 time it will be skipped and last time it will be failed. So how many run will be there for total 3 tests? Sorry, I mean 3 different methods. So test 1 will be 6 times. Each time will be skipped. 1 time will be failed. Test 2 will be only 1 time because we did not using the retry analyzer and failed. And test 3 it is matching the condition, so it will be passed, right? So total 8 number of iteration will be there. Okay, 2 is failed, 5 is skipped, 1 is passed. So let's run it and let's see what is happening here. You can see. So test method 1 is running 6 times, right? 5 times is getting skipped and last time it is getting failed. Whereas test 2 is also failed, but we did not use that retry analyzer, so only it is running 1 time, right? And test 3 is getting fast, so that is the reason though we are using retry analyzer, so still it is not getting re-executed because it is fast, right? So there is no point to re-execute. So that's why you can use that particular, right, retry analyzer and, right, IRetryAnalyzer listener interface, right? Whenever if you want to run the failed test cases only from TestNG framework, so you can implement IRetryAnalyzer listener interface, and you can also use retryanalyzer, that particular, right, keyword, and where you need to use that particular given reference of that class where you are implementing that IRetryAnalyzer and dot class, right? So that's why for the failed test case only you can run multiple times. So though in case there is no system failure is there, so it will try to run based on the input you are providing, the maximum counter, right? So max retry, it will be executed till that time. So as soon as it is matching, test case is getting passed, obviously it will not try anymore. Okay, but unless it is your particular timeout is getting resolved, it will try, I mean retry that time whatever you are giving that counter, right? And that's why you can only run the failed test cases instead of running whole suite of sets, I mean whole suite of suite, right? Okay, I already told, right? Suppose you are having suppose 100 test cases, whereas 5 test cases getting failed. So in case you are not using the TestNG a failed XML file, or you are not using that particular IRetryAnalyzer, so obviously you have to run all the test cases again, right? So it will be huge time consuming, and you can, the past test case also can be failed due to other issues also. But I want to run the failed test case only. So 5 test cases will be run. Obviously it will take less time, and you can analyze it better instead of running whole suite. Okay. So that's all for today's session. Thank you.